All right, let's dive right in. We've got an incredible story for you today. It's all about technology, high-stakes strategy, and a nation's push for self-reliance.
So, what if a tiny little chip could ground an entire air force? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is exactly what we're talking about today. It points to a hidden vulnerability, a single point of failure that can turn billions of dollars of military hardware into, well, a grounded liability.
And this is where the whole story really kicks off. Back in 2016, during the big deal for the Rafale fighter jets, India asked for a critical piece of tech. Just one piece. And the answer was a flat no. That single denial, you guys, it became this massive turning point. It basically sparked a high-stakes national mission to build the very thing that was considered too sensitive to even share.
Okay, so Section 1, a high-tech choke point. This is all about the geopolitical denial that sparked a revolution, and that's exactly what it was, a strategic blockade. This wasn't just about getting a part for a plane, it was about something much, much bigger, technological sovereignty.
I mean, the stakes really couldn't have been clearer. You've got two paths. On one hand, you're relying on foreign tech. That means you're vulnerable, right? Your most important defense projects can be stopped dead in their tracks by some international rule, like ITAR. But on the other hand, you have this path of self-reliance, what India calls Atmanirbhar. So when foreign powers said no to transferring this gallium nitride, or GaN technology, it forced a choice. Do you stay dependent, or do you take a bold new path on your own?
All right, Section 2, the new Superchips. Let's get into understanding GaN and SiC. So, what's the big deal? Why are these chips so revolutionary? What is this technology that was guarded so fiercely?
Okay, so at the heart of all this is something called a wide-band gap semiconductor. Now, don't let the name scare you. It's basically a class of materials that are just on a whole different level. We're talking about gallium nitride, GaN, and silicon carbide, SiC. And listen, this isn't just a small step up from the regular silicon that's in your phone. No way. This is a massive, fundamental leap in what's possible.
And here's a great way to think about it. Imagine electrons moving through a chip. With silicon, it's like a single-lane country road. It gets the job done, but it's slow, and it gets congested. Now, gallium nitride, that's a multi-lane superhighway. It can handle way more traffic, that's your power, and lets it all move incredibly fast, all while generating less heat. So what do you get? More power, more speed, better efficiency, and all in a package that's way smaller.
And when you actually look at the numbers, it's just wow. The technical superiority is undeniable. Look at the band gap. For GaN, it's over 3 times higher than silicon. And what that means in the real world is that it can handle way more power and a lot more heat, all while switching at incredible speeds. This is exactly why these things are perfect for the toughest jobs out there. You know, in advanced radar, electronic warfare, even the next generation of electric cars.
So let's get to Section 3, India cracks the code. This is the Indigenous breakthrough. So faced with that big no, what did India's Defense Research and Development Organization, the DRDO, do? They didn't just go looking for another supplier. Nope, they launched a full-blown mission to develop this incredible technology completely from scratch.
And you can see the journey right here. It all started with that setback in 2016. But then, things got methodical. The real key moment, the breakthrough, happened in March of 2023. That's when the scientists quietly, cracked the code. And it was such a big deal that it was later unveiled to the entire world at these major tech events in 2025.
Now, this breakthrough didn't happen all at once. It happened in stages. The very first step was creating these indigenous 4-inch silicon carbide wafers. You got to think of this as the foundation. It's this super strong, super heat-resistant base that you need to build these super chips on top of. Okay, so foundation's down. Then came the next critical piece. On top of those wafers, they built the gallium nitride transistors. They're called HEMTs, which is short for a much longer name. And these things are powerful, capable of handling up to 150 watts. If the wafer is the foundation, these HEMTs, they're the engines of the chip.
And finally, the last step, they put it all together. They created these complete circuits, we call them MICs, with a 40-watt power capability, perfect for high-frequency stuff. And that's it. That's the finished product, the whole shebang, ready to be put into actual systems.
And I really want to stress this. This wasn't some lone genius having a eureka moment in a lab somewhere. Not at all. This was the result of years of sustained, painstaking work between 2 key players. DRDO's Solid-State Physics Laboratory in Delhi, that's the top-tier research center, and the GATEC Tech Production Facility down in Hyderabad,
a place that already had a ton of experience making chips for India's space program. It was a true team effort.
Okay, Section 4, from lab to battlefield, the strategic impact. So they did it. They cracked the code. But what does this actually mean for India's defense? And it is absolutely not an exaggeration to say, this is a massive game changer.
Well, this tech translates directly into more powerful, more effective military hardware. I'm talking about things like advanced ASA radars that can spot stealth aircraft from much farther away. We're talking electronic warfare systems that can jam enemy signals like never before, and even smaller, more precise seekers for missiles. It affects pretty much everything.
And look, this is not theoretical stuff for the future. These indigenous GaN chips are already being put into India's most advanced defense platforms right now. For example, the Uttam ASA radar on the Tejas fighter jet and the new Virupaksha radar for the souped-up Su-30 MKI fleet, they're using this tech. It's in the field.
And this quote from the DRDO chairman, Dr. Samir Kamat, just nails it. He talks about uniting innovation and industry for a self-reliant tomorrow. This really captures the two big goals of the whole mission. It's not just about securing national defense, it's also about building a whole domestic industry that can innovate, manufacture, and yes, eventually, export this amazing tech to the rest of the world. Make in India, make for the world.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Building the Chip Future, from Self-Reliance to Global Hub. Because this breakthrough, it's just the foundation for a much, much bigger national ambition. We're moving beyond just defense here. And the strategy for how to do this is super clear, super methodical. Step 1, DRDO develops and masters the tech in-house. Check. Step 2, they transfer that knowledge to industry partners, both public and private, using licensing agreements at events like Samanvay 2025. And Step 3, foster a whole national ecosystem for everything, design, fabrication, packaging, so you can scale this thing up for India and for the world.
And guess what? This whole approach is already working. You can see it in the numbers. Domestic defense production is way up, hitting over 1.51 lakh crore rupees just last year. But here's the really crucial part. The private sector's piece of that pie is growing. It's now almost a quarter of the total. That's a huge shift.
You know, this isn't just a small step forward. This is a massive leap into the absolute top tier. By mastering GaN fabrication, India has just broken into an exclusive club. We're talking a club of maybe only 6 nations in the entire world, like the US, France, China, that have the sovereign capability to produce this critical technology on their own.
And that brings us right to the big question, doesn't it? The code is cracked. That was the first monumental step. But this breakthrough? It's opened the door to a much, much bigger game. We're talking about the global semiconductor race, a race that is going to define who holds technological power for decades to come. So can India now win it? The challenge now is to scale up and compete on that global stage.